when you think about the whole run of Florida sites, it's quite remarkable. The oldest site representing the emergence of Florida from the sea was found right here near the University of Florida about 20 years ago, when the interstate I-75 was being cut through. The operation exposed a sinkhole which is about 30 million years old, and which we've been studying since, and that was certainly a very small site. We filled a pickup truck a few times and the site was gone, but it represents the oldest known land in Florida and the first terrestrial animals. And one goes right through that whole 30 million cycle with more and more sites representing successively younger ages. And there are perhaps a dozen world-class first-rank sites that one should think about. Thomas Farm is a site out near the confluence of the Santa Fe River and the Swanee, an old but large sinkhole deposit which we've worked, and before us Harvard and the Florida Geological Survey, spanning now over 50 years of significant paleo work at this one 20 million year old sinkhole. Yet it continues to give us a more and more fully amplified view of what life was like. And we often say in eastern North America, because it's one of the very few so old and so rich in eastern North America. It's about 20 million. We've had recently a PhD student named Ann Pratt doing a very detailed look at how the material got there, what we call taphonomy or paleoecology of that site, and in the process adding a whole new layer of small stuff through screen washing several tons of material, new ideas about bats, birds, earliest songbirds, a whole new look at some of the rodents, early flying squirrels. And so that site, even though it's a single sinkhole, continues to produce a lot of new science. I'd have to rank it as one of the most important. And then still further up the column, coming toward the present, we have the Love Bone Bed. We work intensively there. It's a site just in western Alachua County. We worked very intensively there for a full 10 years, 1970 to 1980. And with the support from the National Science Foundation, we plowed a lot of students in there because it's only 20 minutes from the university. And that was one of our biggest productions from a single site. And it gave us a lot of new science also. The first mounted skeleton anybody's ever done of one of the rare kind of false saber-toothed tigers, lots of rhinos, shovel-tusked mastodons, you name it. There's actually about 100 species from that site, big and little forms of vertebrates. And then of course the phosphate mines, the Bone Valley as it's been known since people first started intensively mining Florida's rich central phosphate district, Polk, Hillsborough County area. That has been known as the Bone Valley because it produces a very large and diverse sample of fossil vertebrates. Everything from marine, sharks, especially big great whites, carcharodon, a lot of whales, very beautiful material of dugongs related to our living manatees, and then all the way up into the terrestrial side where we've had extraordinary finds of a lot of different kinds of land animals. Perhaps the most remarkable was the big horned wonder, this thing that's about 2/3 of a meter long with great big frontal horns at at the back, and then a big slingshot nasal horn at the front. This thing is extraordinary. Anybody that looks at it is amazed. And of course it was new to science and represents the last of an extinct family called the Protoceratidae. Well, that's just one example of the phosphate mines continuing over the 25 years that I've worked there, producing novelties and a very rich array of more normal fossil vertebrates. And then you come to the Pleistocene and it's overwhelming. Florida has probably at least one site in every county from the ice ages. Some of the richest and most beautifully preserved fossils, everything from articulated skeletons down to very rich microfossils, and on and on. Our Pleistocene wealth is sometimes embarrassing because we can't keep up with it. We've tried to select key ages, especially the Plio-Pleistocene transition, about 6 major sites spanning the early half of the Pleistocene. I can't help but mention the Lyces site down in Tampa Bay, which was worked by hundreds of people helping the museum bring in certainly the world's largest sample and richest sample of early Pleistocene vertebrates. It's just amazing. We've cataloged about 40,000 specimens from that site, and we have others that aren't cataloged. And it's a very, very rich sample of coastal plain early Pleistocene deposit. And then further up in through the ice ages all the way till the moment when we encounter early man, and very shortly after that we see the extinction of all the great megafauna. And certainly a detailed account with lots of carbon dates and lots of environmental information based on pollen and beetles and lots of other data in the late Pleistocene is one of our important goals and ongoing projects.